What is good, everyone? Welcome to the HVAC podcast. Today we have Derek Padilla from New Mexico in Albuquerque. Derek Padilla has done over $800,000, guys, in his first 2 months. So we are going to learn today how he revved up his revenue so fast and how he is kicking butt right now in Albuquerque. And he's going to have helpful insights for you, for any HVAC owner listening that wants to ramp up their revenue fast. So Derek, feel free to introduce yourself and also say what's up to the audience.
Hi, my name is Derek Padilla. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I own Bright Breeze Solar and Air Conditioning out here. We're a fairly new startup, started end of May of this year. Like he said, from then until now, we've done 873,000 in total revenue.
Wow.
Still trying to rock strong.
Heck yeah, man. So do you just wake up one morning and you're like, I'm gonna have an HVAC company, and then immediately like you got money coming in, or like what's the strategy, man? Like how'd you even, start hitting those numbers? What happened?
Obviously, no, I didn't just wake up. I wish it was that easy.
Yeah.
So to give you a little bit of background about myself, I've been in the HVAC industry since 2013. Um, yeah, 2012 technically, because it was December that I got hired. Didn't run any calls until January, but I was hired as a salesman. Like I've literally never installed a single piece of equipment in my life. But I got hired by a Costco provider back here, out here out home. Um, I'm in a market where at the time 90% of the homes were swamp coolers. So
Wow.
when I'm going out there and I'm selling air conditioners, for $10,000, $15,000, I really thought I was selling swamp coolers. And I remember I tell myself, wow, you could buy these at Home Depot for like $800. What are these people doing? I had
Yeah.
no idea. I started with the wrong company in the sense of no training whatsoever. Still
Oh,
killed it, did really well, got recruited by a company out in Tucson. And a lot of people might know about them, Intelligent Design, Heating and Cooling. One thing that was really cool about them is they had a really huge focus on education. So that's why I went, got BPI certified, NATE certified, all this stuff as a salesman, which was really, really cool. Um, Unfortunately, the reason they brought me out there is they got into the retail world, big box stores, and lost it 2 months after I was there.
mm,
So I went from running 3 leads a day to 3 a week if I was lucky.
oof.
And then ended up on the wholesale side, got offered my job to come back to Albuquerque, did that. A few buddies of mine, we decided to start our own company in 2021, like mid-pandemic. Um, that one I won't name drop because it is what it is. But
Yeah.
we
Okay.
uh, we did that. There was a lot of chiefs, if you know what I mean. Sold my equity, which wasn't a whole lot, wasn't built up very much. At the beginning of this year, used that little bit of capital I had to just really get the ball started. Um, and then went in hard in May.
And
And so to give an insight on how we went running, I wasn't scared to spend the money for pay for leads. Because obviously I have no brand recognition. I have no reputation in the marketplace. I don't have anything like that. I was just a really good salesman that knew a couple really good installers that were willing to work for me. And that's what I did. Started with Angie's List or Angie's Leads and Angie's Ads. I double dipped on both of those.
yeah.
Thumbtack, Google, all that stuff. And just being the relentless salesman I am was really hard to get people to say no.
And this was this year.
That was this year, yeah. That
Yeah.
was I remember my first call May 28th.
Yeah, dude. And you're like Angie's has changed a lot, because back then what a lot of people are saying is, well, they used to be good. Now they're not. So what's your opinion?
The quality was better, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Back in the day, like so I dealt with Angie's a lot with the company out in Tucson because that's what I had to live off of, and I had to feed myself. Um and an Angie's List customer, like, oh, you're Angie's, you're great, I love you. Now anybody, you had to have a membership, so on and so forth. Now anybody could go on there and just sign up for an estimate. So yeah, the quality of lead has gone down, but I was looking at my numbers strictly off of those paid by leads. I really don't get a whole lot off of Google because I don't have the capital to compete with the large companies in my market.
Yeah.
Um, I'm closing at a 76% rate right now.
Oof. And these are cold leads. These aren't
They're
people that
cold. Yeah.
this isn't like someone from your church that you shook hands with, right?
Oh no.
Guys, we have 10 HVAC clients, and we've been up to 15. It's just slowing down, so we've gone down. But closing a cold deal is way harder than it seems. So, like Derek, and what's your insights on how to close these deals that come in, you call right away and they don't pick up? Like, what do you
And
do?
that's the thing is, I do have my office girl that's in charge of calling leads and all that stuff, but I have those leads going straight to my phone. The moment it's really a race between me and her, and it's kind of a fun thing with her, who could get to him first. Because really, and anybody that's dealt with Angie's or Home Advisor, because that's what Angie's leads is now. If you're not the first, you're forgotten about.
Your last.
And we have this little script that we use to avoid quotes over the phone, reasons why we got to be out in the home, things like that, how it's non-pressured, it's free estimates, so on and so forth. And then when I'm in the home, like I I've never been to like any type of formal sales training for this. Like I think reading scripts and doing all that stuff, at least for my personality and the way I work, has never worked for me. I feel fake. So when I'm in the home, I try to be sincere as possible, and I approach it like a lawyer would, in a sense, where I give them all the reasons why they should do business with me. So by the time we're done, they don't, at least in my opinion, they don't really have a good reason to say no. I want them feeling, God, I hope I can afford this guy by the time I'm done.
That's good.
A lot of people in my market don't do heat loads. We walk in, we do blower door tests, we do heat loads. You know what I mean? We walk in with the thermal imaging cameras, things like that, even as a startup, because I
Wow.
want to be different. I don't have 2,500 5-star reviews. I only have, what we have 40 now. And so that's my whole thing is I gotta show why you should trust me as a new company.
It's 40 in 6 months, good though.
Yeah. And that's
I
because honestly it has a lot to do with my service manager. He's sitting in the background. He's in a lot of the service homes and that's his thing. Hey, can you leave me a review? Can you leave me a review? Can you leave me a review? So it's helped out.
Reviews are so important. I don't know if you know this, but like when you type in sushi near me, Google's going to give you the nearest spot. It's not going to give you the best. It's going to give you the nearest.
Yeah.
But if you're the best in your circle with the reviews and you're closest to a homeowner, you're going to get that top spot. No amount of SEO can cover that. And that's on the
Yep.
Google Map side.
Yeah.
So the reviews is super important. So the fact that you guys are collecting them so fast, being so new, like, dude, good job.
Yeah.
What do you
And
do?
that is because that's one thing I will say. There are some review savvy companies in our market where like there's a company out of Tucson called Rightway that opened up an office out here to take over Costco from my old employer. And God, in 4 years, they're already at like 6,500 reviews. So
Damn.
how do you have to be able to compete with something like
Yeah.
that? So yeah.
Have to. It's crazy, And there are multiple homes, right? And you're like
Oh,
Costco, right? It's probably in their SOPs to get every review from every customer. Uh,
yeah,
they probably have automations that keep hitting these customers up for the reviews. But
probably.
what do you do when because we work with a lot of HVAC professionals, and what do you do when you call them immediately, you send them a text, you send them an email, 3 follow-ups right away in the first, 10, 15 minutes. And then you call again the next day, they don't pick up. Like, what's your process? Like, when do you like give up, or do you even
Well,
go
no, we call 3 times a day until they tell us yes or F off
then like every day?
every day.
And it's
That's
work and it
what
works.
her name is Diana. That's her job. She calls and calls. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of rejection. Anybody that does this knows that it's there. But I will say, not as relentless as the guys that had us out this weekend, but pretty
Yeah, the Greg Cardone guys are
close.
crazy, bro. They all the time.
Yeah, but pretty close. Like because at the end of the day, anybody that knows, depending on your market, you're paying a lot of money for those leads. When you're a little startup with very little capital, I have to capitalize on every one of those leads that come in. So I want to know, hey, we've already went with somebody else. I didn't realize this is what I signed up for, or yeah, come on out. You know what I mean? I want to be able to close that lead in one way or another. Like I'm not the type where somebody says, "Oh no, we're not interested anymore" or anything like that. I'm not going to be up like, "Oh, please, please let us out." I just want to know. You know what I mean? You're not interested. You went with somebody else. You were like some of them will come through. They're looking for gutters or roofing. You know what I mean? Like those
Yeah,
come
yeah,
through,
of
but I
course.
want an answer in the sense on why we went out and why we didn't.
Yeah, and that's so when you do the okay, so you have relentless follow-up, which is great. And then you have staff doing that as well, your front
Yeah.
office person. So you being such a new HVAC company, what does your team look like? So you're doing sales and
So
you're a
me,
business owner as well, right?
yeah, I'm business owner, and then we have Bruno, which is kind of like my second in command. You met him as well.
Yep.
He does strictly like I do the operations and the business, the front end operations, I should say,
Yeah.
and sales. Bruno takes the lead on sales. He's a heck of a salesman himself. And then I have Adam, which is my service manager, one more service tech under him, and then I have two install crews, and then I
Okay.
have two girls in the office.
Okay. Good. And when it comes to your and when it comes to your like advertising to get these leads, are you still focusing on Angie's and Thumbtack and Google Ads, or is there other things
Yeah, just
like
because right now I'm getting the most for my money off of those.
yeah.
But like recently, we wrapped her. I don't know if you saw my truck this weekend,
No,
but
not yet. Send me a
it's
picture.
a yeah, I'll send you a picture. It was a very unique wrap.
Yeah, I want to see it.
It's a billboard. Like for instance, yesterday I went to go pick up my son from his after school program, and the little girl that does the daycare, like the watching, she goes, "Oh my God, I see that truck everywhere." It's only been wrapped for a week.
Hell yeah,
So you
dude.
know what I mean? It's a lifted Nissan tie-in with a black camel wrap, and the letters are like police reflective.
Oh, dope.
I
Heck
want
yeah.
it to be
That's
seen.
good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
And so with that, and then all the trucks on the road, that's where I've really been getting the most organic calls from. Is
That's
just really
right.
having vehicles on the road.
You got to wrap them.
But
Yeah,
I'm paying for every other lead in the sense of just pay for lead off the
yeah.
vehicle.
I really want to wrap my. I just got a new car, 2019 Mazda X3, sick little thing. But you know how my shirt says I get you leads in the back? Same thing in
Yeah,
the car. I get you
heck
leads,
yeah.
wrap it all. Because no digital marketers, they're not out there
Good.
wrapping their stuff. Like they're not
Oh
doing,
yeah.
you know. So, but that's good that you're doing that, man. As far as like your rapid growth, right? What else has attributed to that aside from marketing, right? So you said you weren't
Just
scared to pay for leads, but what else have you done?
honestly, just closing ability. It's not like we run a crap ton of leads. It's just been when we're in the home, we're closing them.
I like your rap. Sorry, you just sent it to me. It's dope. Dope. I don't know where I wish I could show it to the audience. I don't know how I would, but that's a
Yeah,
good,
no, you're good.
it definitely pops out.
Yeah, and
That's
that's why I
sick.
did it. Instead of doing one that looks like the vans and stuff, I did that for that specific reason, so it pops out.
Hell yeah. So,
Um,
okay, so sales. So let's say you're a business owner and you're like, I'm paying for marketing, I'm doing this. Like you heard the guys there, they're like, my
yeah,
marketing sucks, my leads suck, right? So would you argue and you're like, it's a sales issue.
no, there's market like there's a lot I picked up that first day. Even though those are like kind of a tester boot camp thing, they want you to sign up for their program. At the
Yeah,
end
they
of the
want
day,
you to
it's
do
like I
six.
want the customer to buy my air conditioner. But like when I forget his name, but the gentleman the first day that was talking about his whole marketing,
Jeremy?
he applied because we're going into our slow season. So our slow season's a lot different than because you're in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I mean, same kind of
Yeah. So
climate,
your
but
slow season isn't for a little bit of for a while, but it's a lot longer because you don't have a winter.
no,
Well,
we
out
don't.
here, our slow season's from now until the end of October, and then we pick up for the winter. Then we're down for the end of February till May.
You guys
So
get
I'm
both.
like, what could I do? So I started doing the email, text message marketing through House Call Pro to the people that we even quoted, and we got 110 service calls, like tune ups for the fall, put on the board over the next month
Start
and a
doing
half.
that. Yeah,
And I don't know why I never thought of doing that.
yeah, dude.
So, in anybody out there that had watched this that's in House Call Pro that's new, um, they have automations under their marketing for text messages, for email, stuff like that. So you put your list in, you put your customer list, however you want to structure it. You can just set up automations, which is great because I've been doing a lot of what they do manually. So now, like if we leave an estimate, I have an automation that's bugging them every day, following up on the estimate via email and text message. So
That's
that's
what's
just one
up,
thing
dude.
that I adapted. So even though, it's great, we've had a quick, especially with this market, quick little success our first couple months out. Um, you still got to grow.
Yeah.
You don't know everything.
No, no, you always got to keep growing, got to keep learning. And I'm going to share this stat here real quick. I know for you, right? You see the screen here,
Yeah.
62%. Okay. So, uh, you got leads from now not you, right? But there's other
Yeah.
owners watching here that got leads from years past that they forgot about. that automation you brought up with House Call Pro or Service Titan can reactivate so
A
many,
lot of those
uh,
leads.
and generate those, like fill that calendar. And that's what I'm telling all my, not only my clients, but even just anyone that is the industry that has a slow season. Like, yo, reactivate your list, get out there for tune-ups or like service calls. So for maintenance, so that you can, one, keep your guys busy, and two, see if you can collect extra revenue during the slow season. Because so many businesses are not doing this, dude. It's just crazy. I just want to share this statistic because it's just such an important thing that I don't think too many people are taking advantage of.
Yeah. And I've noticed that, talking to some of the other, because it's a lot of new people that go to those events.
Yeah.
There were some seasoned companies there, don't get me wrong, but like there was a couple guys that I talked to, different companies, that they try to set them up as two-stop closes, where they'll go in, they'll kind of present what they want, and then they don't present a price because they want to quote unquote be the last estimate. So they want to come back later to present the price so they could see if they beat their competitors. And I don't think that that's works, because I remember years ago, I don't know exactly what the numbers were, but your your closing ratio, if you were in the home, was 53%. The moment you left the house, it dropped down to 6
Yeah.
for any reason. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm the guy, like, I'm so scared to lose that customer. I want to do everything in the world without being that sleazy Bible salesman. I want to do everything in the world to earn their business while I'm there.
100%.
And so I say that's the best thing, is like a lot of these guys rely on their follow up. Like they don't persuade. I wouldn't call it closing, but they don't persuade hard enough to earn the business the moment they're in the home. They're relying on a lot of their follow up, and that's where a lot of lack in success comes in. Don't get me wrong, follow up helps. Follow up's great, but when you brought up about sales, don't be afraid to ask for the sale. Don't be afraid to close them in the home.
Yeah, I've never heard of that process where someone does a two-step process, but
Yeah, I blew my mind at that event this weekend.
outside you're a pest and in the home you're a guest, right? So that's literally why I'm like, when you said that, I'm like, that's so weird.
And the
Um,
only other place I've ever seen do that is solar people. Like the door knockers will set the appointment and have the closer come up, but it's still the same day, an hour or two
oh yeah,
behind them.
yeah,
But it was some guys from Vegas that we were talking to, and they told me, oh, yeah, it works really great because we're the last one in there and we know if we could beat their price. I don't want to be the cheapest guy in the market.
I wonder if I talked to those guys because I don't know what their company was, but I
Yeah, I
have
don't.
I have a few clients in Vegas. And every time someone talks about Vegas, I'm like, oh, I have industry insights in that market. I know
Yeah.
pretty well how the homeowners are like doing. Dude, like a lot of people, like I don't know what's going on in Vegas, but the debt out there is crazy. We did 13 applications for financing. One got approved for one client, not even my other client. I was like, damn, what is going on out there?
That's wild.
Uh,
That's I've been pretty lucky this year too. So because of we signed up to be a Ream vendor. It's not really the brand that I push, but we signed up to be a Ream vendor just to have Synchrony Finance, because they overlook your first year in business if you're a Ream
yeah,
dealer. And I've had really good luck with Synchrony on approvals. Knock on
yeah,
wood.
dude, yeah, dude. The approvals, man, like that's like as I'm getting more and more in tune with my home service guys, I'm like, we need to figure out a good process for the people that aren't getting approved, right? And also like I would say keep following up with those people because they may not get approved at all from anything.
So
You can still do something with them,
I'm
you
going to
know?
give a big nugget to anybody watching this. So everybody has a Baker, a Watsco type, no matter what market you're in, a Baker or a Gem Air heating, cooling supply, whatever those are owned by Watsco, that's all part of ICP. You walk into your Baker, walk into your heating and cool supply, sign up to be an ICP dealer, an elite dealer. It's absolutely free. There's no requirements. Once you become an ICP dealer, you set up Wells Fargo financing. I can't do this yet because you got to be in business at least a year. But I was a TM at Baker. You set up Wells Fargo financing, and piggybacked off of it is a thing called Mycroft. Mycroft is guaranteed credit approval. It's like walking in and buying furniture at cons, where it's a lease to own, but it really helps those people that don't have any options. And there's absolutely, I mean, zero finance fees.
Wow. See, this is
Yeah.
why I do this podcast with as many people as I can, because this is why like there's just the amount of knowledge, like whether you're starting out tech, or you're a seasoned guy like yourself, and I know you say you're in this business pretty new, but dude, you're seasoned, like 2013, like that's a long time. That's
Yeah.
more than a decade. So like that's why I like this. That's such a good nugget. I wish one day, like, dude, we're gonna have thousands of viewers more and more. But I know I got 50 50 frequent viewers, and they'll find that knowledge
Yeah.
very valuable.
Dude, yeah. So the only
At
way
the
you can get
clip,
Microsoft is you have to be a Wells Fargo, like you have to sign up for Wells Fargo financing.
well, you
And you
broke down the steps.
yeah, you can only do it through, well, locally we have Baker, but I know
Yeah.
Watsco owns Baker Heating and Cooling, Gem Air. Um, God, there's so many. Just I'm sure anybody that knows what's owned by Watsco in their
Well, I
market.
talked I talked to a plumber yesterday and he had six financing options. And I was like, dude, you're doing it right. Like, because he's bilingual, so he talks his Spanish and English, and both of them
Yeah,
like six financing. I'm like, dude, like the more options you have, the better. Because
yeah,
that way you can't
definitely.
say no to anyone.
Yep.
Okay. That's good. That's good on the financing side. So as far as like leadership, you said that education has been a big part of like your success.
Yeah.
What do prior companies like train you on and educate you on, and how are you applying that to you and your team?
So yeah, like for instance, like the company out in Tucson, as soon as I got out there, they got us BPI certified, Building Performance Institute, where blower door tests, ventilation, pressure loss, just the whole house is an envelope. Um, and we did that because we were aerosil dealers, and I don't know if anybody knows what aerosil is. I'm sure everybody does, but it's duct sealing. But it was using the blower door and all that to show locks and leakage in the duct system. And but it was cool. I got that there. Even though I've never literally hooked up gauges to a system, I got Nate certified in
Nice.
2015. You know what I mean? I've lost it because I didn't renew it when I came back to New Mexico, but I got that.
Yeah.
And then just, I did the Lennox sales trainings, I did the carrier sales trainings, depending on who I worked for, so on and so forth. Um, but I'm always trying to learn something. Like I remember I heard this old man when I was young. The first sales job I ever had is I was knocking door to door selling these little $20 like discount vouchers for Bennigan's and Chili's and stuff like that. It was like $20 and you got like
Yeah.
$200 free food. And this old man was giving me some education. I was young, I'm like, oh, I know everything. He goes, hey, you're green, you're growing. If you're ripe, you rot.
Yep.
The day you think you know it all is the day you start going downhill. And I was 19 years old. That stuck with me forever. So that's
Dude,
why, like, that's why, that Cardone thing, even though maybe financially as a business, we're not ready for what they have everything to offer, I still wanted to go and learn as much as I could from what was available.
yeah, I signed up for the revenue workshop, but that's how I am, dude. Like I'm 24, but
Yeah.
as much and I know a lot in marketing, but I'm always trying to get like better and better each day. And yesterday we talked to a plumber, and he's like, he was warm like throughout my whole presentation, but as soon as I said, "Hey, we got automations, we'll go into your service tighten and like go back in there and reactivate everyone automatically with the AI bot, start up the conversations," he like perked up, and I'm like, "Oh, AI and automation is what my home service guys are really going to find value in." Because Facebook ads was very valuable, back then. Now everyone knows it. Automation is that, and AI is that new thing where people are
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I want that." So now we're building up that as we're growing. But I wouldn't have known that if I stopped, if I wasn't asking more questions and trying to educate myself more, like what do people really want? Because at the end of the day, like like marketing's needed, but again, you need all these other tools and processes to really make more revenue from that marketing, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what are you seeing in the HVAC business in the next like 5 years that's either going to be like a problem or a benefit to you guys?
A benefit, I say the whole cold climate heat pump market. So at least, I only know really what's in my market.
Yeah.
I'm in a market where nobody ever had a heat pump on their house unless they had radiant floor heating because we get down to single digits, sometimes negative digits, even in Albuquerque. So heat pumps with heat strips just were so non-cost effective. So now with these cold climate heat pumps that go down to negative 22 degrees, some of them, um, they're very, and then there's so many like our state right now. If you buy a cold climate heat pump, they will pay 50% of it up to $8,000.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And
So
there's some income restrictions and things like that, but it's not very strict. You know what I mean? That's kicking off on September 6th.
a good
And
offer.
luckily, because I don't know if you saw the US Direct in my email, another business that we have is we do smart thermostats in low income multifamily apartments.
Yeah.
And so I have relationships like with we do it for SRP out there, we do it for PNM and New Mexico Gas out here, some other markets in Vegas and in San Diego. And with those connections, Franklin Energy, which is the company out here that takes care of PNM, they're in charge of that. So we're going to be the premier trade ally to start spearheading that. Like literally, let's say I walked in your house and that heat pump's $16,000, you only have to pay me 8 grand. And
What
within
an
70,
opportunity. What an opportunity.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so things like that, like people are, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, energy efficiency is moving forward. You know what I mean? It really is. It's the way we're going, oil's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
So when, these government mandates or whatever you want to call them are beneficial to motivate you, to put an EV charger at your home or buy an EV vehicle or a cold climate heat pump, stuff like that. It's or solar, 30% to buy solar. It's hard to say no. So if you can get in front of that, I don't care what state, what market you're in, weatherization WAP is in every state. It's a federal thing. Those funds there, take advantage of them.
We yeah, you gotta take advantage. We did so SRP and Train here in Phoenix did rebates and we stacked it.
Yep.
So SRP, so it was a $600 SRP, $800 Train, and then a $2,000 federal tax credit, and we stacked it all together. And that was one of our best months when we we're running ads. So if anyone does have any of that offer, consumers on Facebook and Instagram see that and they're like, wow, that's a big amount of savings. People just want deals on those platforms. They all
Yep.
want that's why there's Facebook Marketplace. They go there for deals.
Yeah.
I like Facebook Marketplace because I know I'm gonna get a couch there that normally it'd be $200. I can get for $50, maybe 30 if they don't really want it, and I
Yeah.
got
No,
right.
definitely. You're
Yeah.
exactly.
So
And
so those ads do really well. Those ads do really well. So that's cool that you get to spearhead that. Are you gonna be the first one in you're like the first?
I'm the first one in the market that has access to it.
How did you get access to it? Just because you got
Just my
like
relationship with Franklin Energy.
networking guys, you got to be networking all the time, Any
So, and it was like one of the things that Brandon said is finding other laterals because we aren't busy all year long. So that's how the whole smart thermostat, it's called DI, direct install thing, came to be. So, going down that road, keeping those people happy. Just, the girl from Franklin, like, hey, this thing's coming on. Send me this, send me this, send me this, some requirements that I needed, the VPI stuff, all that. And, it's not going to be exclusive to me forever. It's just she needed somebody to launch it with. And I was fresh in her head.
yeah. Do you have any tips on like building partnerships like that? Because obviously in the like decade, like you're in the industry, and when you're in the industry, you know people for a long time. But do you have like obviously like be nice, be respectful?
So
Have any other tips?
this is really getting into it, but it's to make it make sense. So every utility is at least 99% of utilities are publicly regulated. So like out here in New Mexico, we have the PRC. In
Mhm.
Arizona, I forget what it's called, but every utility has to have X amount of their portfolio clean or renewable energy. Well, rather than go and build a million wind farms or solar plants and solar arrays and all that stuff, that's why you're incentivized for solar on your house or for buying a smart thermostat, so on and so forth. So they bring down their total carbon footprint as well. So every utility has them. Even if you don't want to do utility stuff, go onto their website and sign up as a trade ally. You would be surprised how much business gets sent your way through the utility.
Wow.
Every utility has trade allies because they have to meet a certain goal. They have to spend so much money in every medium. Like there's multifamily, there's business to business, there's business to residential, there's residential to residential, and they all carry different rebates.
I feel like I have to pay you for all this information you just spilled out in the 30 minutes, man. Dude, thank you for hopping on. I really wish I could sit here for another, hour, 30 minutes, pick your brain. But I know you're busy. Every HVAC owner is very busy. So again, thank you for the time.
Of
Do you
course.
have any last pieces of advice? Or just, one thing you want to say, maybe about your company, you want to promote it, like anything you want to say, maybe your Instagram, drop if you want. Like, is there anything else you want to say before we hop off?
Um, be persistent. Like as corny as that sounds, like if you get
Oh,
complacent, you're not gonna move forward. Like really, that's the thing. This is coming from a big fluffy guy. Be persistent.
love it.
So yeah, just don't give up. It gets hard, it gets scary sometimes. Just don't give up.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on, Derek. Appreciate you guys. And you heard it here. Be persistent, and you too can build a $800,000 HVAC company in the first 6 months of rolling out. Not kidding. But yeah, be persistent, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure if Derek gave you any good feedback, leave him a review. Reviews, leave him a review on Google. Say that he's knowledgeable in HVAC. What's your Google My Business like landing page called?
So the Google is Bright Breeze Solar and Air.
Okay, Solar and Air right there. Bright Breeze,
Bright Breeze is one word, yeah.
Bright Breeze, one word, Solar and
Yeah,
Air.
and then you talked about the AI thing. AI helped me come up with the name.
Oh, dude, it's everywhere. You can't get away from it. You gotta leverage it, use it. Chat GPT on your phone. Like,
Yep.
you gotta have it. So thank you, everyone. Have a good one. Goodbye, goodbye.